Well, returning now to our breaking news this morning, and 3 people, including a child, remain missing as catastrophic bushfires tear through hundreds of thousands of hectares across country Victoria.
Residents and firefighters are watching the weather nervously this morning after conditions not seen since the Black Summer fires.
And for more, we're joined live this morning by Victorian Premier Jacinta Allan. Good morning, Premier. Thank you so much for your time. We've seen extraordinary scenes overnight from communities right across your electorate. How concerned are you about the challenging conditions today?
Oh, very. Today remains another very difficult and dangerous day with wind conditions that are changing, with heat continuing to be a challenge in many northern parts of the state. And we've got 36 active fires right across the state in all different parts of the state. And to give you a sense of how dangerous the potential danger they can cause, there's 19 emergency warnings and alerts and evacuation orders out to leave those areas. So today's another really difficult day, and if I can use this opportunity through your program this morning is to encourage Victorians to please continue to have the Vic Emergency app close at hand, to listen to local media and local broadcasters to get the latest information, and if you are told to leave, please do so, because we know that action that we can all taking the advice and following it is the best way to save lives, and it's also the best way we can support those thousands of firefighters who are working around the clock to protect our community.
Premier, I think we can fully accept that this is an unfolding emergency still, but one of the things that we are hearing from the fire ground is that the CFA is crying out for better resources and more funding. There are reports from the fire ground that they're driving around in 30-year-old trucks. The air conditioning has collapsed in these fire trucks. They're returning to the sheds without basic things like toilets. And earlier this morning on our program, Deputy Mayor of Strathbogie Shire spoke to us about those conditions that the CFA volunteers are facing.
We had people who could not communicate with another truck that was 2 kilometres away in the middle of a fire. We couldn't get tankers in. Our roads are deplorable because the emergency services won't go there because it's not safe. So we've got properties that are put at risk because our infrastructure is not up to it. We pay pretty good taxes in this country. Can we use them to look after the people who pay them?
Now, Premier, it's a bit of a struggle to get a full idea of the budget cuts that have happened to the CFA. Can you be absolutely clear that your state is as prepared as it can be for this disaster?
Not only can I say absolutely yes in answering that question, I want to be absolutely clear that there is no reduction in funding to our emergency services. In fact, the opposite. We have increased the funding to our emergency services, including the Country Fire Authority, and in increasing the funding, we are putting more new trucks and tankers out into the field. And the advice from the CFA and the Chief Fire Officer is all vehicles out in the fire active zones right now are safe and are supporting the fire effort. And I'd hope that this isn't a moment for some to use it for a political moment. I have no time for that today, of all days, where we've got 36 active fires across the state, and my focus is not only providing additional support, as we have been doing so for the CFA, more trucks, more equipment, more funding. It's about backing them in. It's about backing them in and giving them the support that they need from everyone across Victoria right now, because they're out there protecting our communities, protecting lives and protecting properties.
Premier, we heard from the Deputy Mayor there earlier saying this isn't actually about politics. If you have adequately funded the CFA, how can local firefighters not communicate with trucks 2 k's away? And are you confident saying that you do not believe these firefighters and volunteers are putting their lives on the line because they don't have adequate funding?
We, again, if I can make the point again, we have not only provided additional funding and support to our CFA, we've provided more trucks and more equipment alongside that additional funding. And when there is a very difficult and dynamic fire situation on the ground, through the work of the leadership of the CFA, they make sure that those firefighters are safe and are protected. And I do repeat that today of all days, where we've got many properties that have been lost, where we've got particular challenges on fire grounds across the state, today is not the day for, frankly, misinformation that is not going to support the firefighters who are out there right now and does nothing to support the community. So I don't have time for that today. My focus is solely on providing the support to our emergency services because they're out there protecting our community right now.
Well, we hope that those CFA volunteers do have new trucks, not the 30-year-old ones that they're telling us about. In terms of these declarations of states of disaster in these local government areas that you've declared overnight, what does that actually mean? What does it mean in terms of the support that will be rolled out to people?
The purpose of this declaration has one purpose. It is to protect Victorian lives and give our emergency services every tool that they need to do that task. And so it does provide our emergency services with the ability to have strengthened evacuation orders in place in those areas where the fires just become far too difficult for people to remain. Also too, given the dangerous ground conditions, it provides the emergency services with the ability to manage the movement of people both out and also as we think about returning people to these fire-affected communities that could potentially still remain difficult and dynamic. So this is solely focused on providing that support for our emergency services with that singular purpose of protecting lives.
All right, it is a busy and difficult time in Victoria. Jacinta Allan, we thank you for your time this morning and hope that that discussion about funding and the resources for the CFA doesn't stop today. It needs to continue in the weeks and months to come once this disaster wraps up. Premier, thank you.
Appreciate your time.